Hi, I'm Chef Mary Ellen McTague, and over the coming films I'll be sharing recipes specially created for anybody with a stoma. I have first-hand experience of cooking for people with a stoma, as a couple of my family members have one. So I know that being an Ostomate doesn't mean that you have to compromise on eating the foods that you enjoy. And in fact, you can probably enjoy most of the foods that you used to as long as you follow a few simple rules. The most important thing to remember is that if a food disagreed with you before you had your stoma, it probably still will. I hope that these recipes inspire you to cook foods that are delicious and good for you. I love food and I want to help you have the confidence to create your own dishes, experiment and never let your stoma hold you back. Today I'll be making a root vegetable hot pot. Well cooked and seedless vegetables like celeriac, carrot, parsnip are a great source of fibre and help to avoid blockages. So we're going to start by cooking the vegetables for the sauce for the hot pot. Got some different root vegetables here, carrots, celeriac, parsnip and turnip. Got a warm pan here, a little bit of oil. And what we want is the vegetables to be really well cooked. One important thing to bear in mind when eating vegetables like these is that you need to chew really well. It sounds simple, but it really aids digestion. So once the vegetables are cooking, you can start to make the roux, the sauce. That's butter and flour. This sauce can be made with either gluten-free flour or plain flour. They're both interchangeable. So if you're on a gluten-free diet, this dish is good for you as well. Got this pan over a medium heat here, so hot enough to melt the butter, cook the roux, but without it catching or getting too dark. Flour and the butter are cooking out here in this pan, and the next step is to add the milk. So pour in slowly. The roux will start to thicken really quickly as soon as the liquid goes in, and adding a little bit at a time helps to prevent lumps as well. So whilst the white sauce is cooking and the vegetables are colouring here, I'm going to get the potatoes for the top of the hot pot into this pan of boiling water here. So we just want to pre-cook them slightly. They don't need to be completely cooked. So they'll go into simmering water for 4 or 5 minutes. We don't want them too well cooked, otherwise they'll fall apart when we take them out of the pan. We're going to put a clove of crushed garlic into the pan with the potatoes. That's going to flavour the potatoes. It's a nice way of doing it because it means you get the garlic flavour, but then when we come to fry the potatoes afterwards, the garlic won't burn. So I'm just going to add the grey mustard to the white sauce. It's finished cooking now, it's really nice and thick. And the last thing to go in there is going to be some salt. Okay, so we can switch that off now. That's just going to sit and wait for the vegetables to finish softening in the pan. So this veg has been cooking over a medium heat for about 10 minutes now. It's nice and soft, it's got a little bit of colour on the outside, and that's ready for the turnip to go in. And then finally the leek. And we're just going to carry on cooking that now until the leek's softened and slightly translucent. So these potatoes are ready now. They've just been simmering away for a few minutes. They're just soft, not quite cooked, because we're going to finish them in a frying pan with some oil and some salt and lots of black pepper. That's an important part of the hot pot, is the black pepper. I've got a pan heating up right here. On it over a medium-high heat, not too hot, otherwise the potatoes will get too dark before they've cooked through. And then in go the potatoes. Putting plenty of black pepper into these potatoes and a little bit of salt as well. Potatoes have been cooked on one side. They're getting really nice and soft now. So just turn them over. I'm going to give them a little bit more seasoning on this side. And that's the root vegetables ready to go. So they're nice and soft. They've got a little bit of colour on them, which gives them a really nice caramelised sweet flavour. And that leek's translucent and also has a little touch of colour on it as well. So they are going to go into the grey mustard sauce. The sauce might need to be loosened up a little bit with a touch of water. I want it quite nice and thick, replacing the gravy you traditionally have in a lamb hot pot. But if it's a bit too thick, you can adjust it. Just a few drops of water in there will do that. And I'm just going to season that with a little bit of salt. It doesn't need pepper because it's already quite spicy with the grey mustard. And the grey mustard also gives it a nice, a little bit of acidity as well, which works really nicely with the vegetables. Okay, we're almost ready to dish up. Last thing I'm going to do is some nice green vegetables to go with this. You can serve any kind of greens with this, either salad or broccoli or kale or whatever you like to have. Here I've got some spinach, kale and pea shoots. So I'll get a pan on. So we need a little bit of oil or butter, whichever you prefer. Okay, so the pan's warm. I'm going to get the green veg in. These baby vegetables don't take very much cooking at all. They just need to soften slightly. So everything's ready to go, and we will plate up. We'll start with the vegetable hot pot mix. There we go. The veg in a really nice creamy sauce. And the hot pot potatoes. And finally the wilted greens. It's a really pretty dish, and it can be adapted to use whichever vegetables are in season as well. So that's the root vegetable hot pot with seasonal greens. For more information on eating with a stoma, visit the Trio website and order the Trio Healthy Eating Tips booklet. And if you find that certain foods give you problems, Trio have a variety of products that can help. Join us next time when we'll be making a veal and pork meatball ragu.